Casey Bloys, HBO's programming president, talked a bit about Game of Thrones and future spinoffs, so now I want to talk about what he talked about. And also complain a bit, but I mean, come on. First, I want to talk about the second season of House of the Dragon, because it hasn't been renewed for a second season as of when I'm recording this, and it kind of burns my ass. When Casey was asked, hey, why hasn't it been renewed for a second season? Here was his response.
Typically speaking, I like to take an approach where we will talk about what a second season might look like and talk about scripts, but we tend to like to see how a show performs. That said, if I were betting, I'd say there's a pretty good shot that House of the Dragon will get a season 2. But we tend to like things to air and give it some time. That said, on most shows, we'll do preparation and put ourselves in a good position to move forward.
I know he said it's pretty good, but I also know they're trying to keep themselves in a position where if the first season is a flop, they can just be like, we never renewed it for a second season. Whatever. We knew it was gonna fail. Or we just wanted to put this out there because we love you Game of Thrones fans. But just renew it. It's stupid to end House of the Dragon where you're ending it for season 1 and not continue forward. You're blue balling us, HBO. Don't blue ball us. He also confirmed that there's no other Game of Thrones spinoff besides House of the Dragon that has been greenlit, but also they haven't passed on any of them, so they're coming forward good, but they haven't been greenlit yet. But again, they haven't been red lighted? And besides that, he said there's nothing really to report on them and that they're all looking good. Here's a quote by him.
It's just like any development process, some are looking really good, some we'll see. We're not going to make everything. I don't have any mandate that I must make a certain amount of spin-offs or prequels or anything like that. I wouldn't even give you a tease that we might see something this year because I really don't know. It depends on how the development comes in.
I also call BS about him not caring, and it's just about creativity because they did get a fire lit under their butt after some purchases were made. He was also asked about animated movies for Game of Thrones spin-offs, and this was his response. Again, I think a lot of those were announced as speculative development, very embryonic development. I don't even know, to tell you the truth, that we have a writer attached or anything like that. The nice thing is, because we control the property, you can kind of try different things and see what's exciting without having to commit. So we'll let the creative lead us. I'm so suspicious of this dude. Seriously, I think he was told he needs to do a certain amount of Game of Thrones shows, because you definitely see a shift after the buyout. He's also not very concerned about Amazon's Lord of the Rings. He was asked over and over again, like, hey, are you worried about releasing House of the Dragon at the same time as the Lord of the Rings Rings of Power? And so far he's been like, no, we're gonna release it when we feel is best. And I know there's been like a bunch of rumors about them splitting it and releasing like the first half in summer and the second half in fall or winter. I think that would be really stupid, but I guess we'll see because HBO has done stupider things. Casey was asked about maybe showing something at Comic-Con for House of the Dragon, and here was his response. I don't know about Comic-Con, we haven't announced any of our plans yet. I don't even want to say soon, but you'll start to see material. If I say soon, I'll leave that vague. So maybe soon. A good operating principle is to not worry too much about what other people have airing and to keep your eyes on your own work. I feel very good about House of the Dragon, and we'll premiere it when we premiere it. But it's interesting because he also said besides that, COVID is actually impacting when it premieres. So he said, one of the reasons why we're trying to be cautious about it is when you're shooting a show that big during a pandemic, especially with the last round with a lot of crew and cast members, you didn't know who was going to drop out or if we were going to have to shut down, so we just didn't want to declare a date and then find ourselves shut down. Now that we are out of production, I think that we will talk to their guys and figure out what we want to do in terms of announcing a date. But I was just trying to make sure that we didn't come out with a date that we couldn't meet for something that was out of our control. Which makes sense. George has run into that saying, oh, hey, I'm gonna release this then, and it just doesn't happen. So I feel like they have someone to look to go, okay, yeah, we need to wait until we're a little bit more certain, which I also appreciate, because I don't want false hope.